Hi, this is Kedu Africa with Edibere.
And I'm Kingsley Edibere. Welcome to Kedu Africa. We're bringing you African achievements from all over the globe, positive achievements.
Culture, lifestyle, this is what we do at Kedu Africa. And today on the show, we will have the Chief Happiness Officer, Mr. Edwin Edibere. I can't wait for you to listen to him.
And there's going to be all types
cultural
of
dances
action.
And all kinds of African fashion. So, see you.
Give us some music. Let's take this out.
Living me feel like a hover. Me and my little man on the social. More music with any and bring your sickest rappers. Sum it up, beach up on the total. But what can I?
Hello and welcome to Kedu Africa with Edibere. Today with me is the Chief Happiness Officer, and his name is Mr. Edwin Edibere. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I am happy to be here. Okay. And no pun intended.
Good to have you. So I am thinking the Happiness Project.
Yes.
Why the Happiness Project? Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what the Happiness Project is all about?
Yeah, it basically started back in 2009. It was at the height of the recession. And for those who are familiar with back then, to say that things were tough would be an understatement. Okay. I see people I know, they were like really feeling down. People were losing their homes, they were losing their jobs. Oh my God. I mean, 401k became 101k. So I just decided to go out. I knew I couldn't do anything about the bigger picture, but I could do something about one person. I do a lot of meditation. Okay. So I came out of meditation one day feeling good. I just went out on the street and I started asking people, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? I get a number and we just talk about happiness. That's how it started.
So numbers, like you get a number like 0, like 1,
2, 3, 4, 5. The numbers were all over the place. And it got to be a point where the number was not really the issue. It was just something to get them to start to talk about happiness. Because even though you lose a house or you lose your job, that is something that passes with time. And you still have to cherish what you still have. I have a saying that you do not allow the past or the future to rob you of the present. And so if we can focus on the present, we can lay a foundation for the future.
Okay, so you happy all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's not required. You don't have to be happy 24/7. Sometimes when you are not happy, it actually helps you to appreciate the time you are happy.
Okay, how can someone like me be happy?
Well, I have, one of the things that I'm truly pioneering is the concept of happiness as a skill. Most psychologists tell us, and they rightfully so, that happiness is an emotion, and it is. However, I feel like we can manage our emotion if we learn some very basic skills, especially when we don't need it. It's not when you're unhappy you try to learn something. That's not going to work. You learn it ahead of time, and then when the need comes, you are ready.
Okay, when I was doing my research, there's a story about this young man who was at the lowest point of his life and he was even going to take his life. Can you tell us a story?
Absolutely. It was one of those things that I would say when we come across people, we might think we have impact on them, but they also have impact on us. And that was a turning point in the whole project. I have interviewed quite a few people before that time. So I met this young man. He was in Jack London Square in Oakland, California. Beautiful Sunday morning. And so I'm whistling and I'm singing. And so this young man is coming and I say, excuse me, can I ask you a quick question? And he said, no. I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on here? So I said, come on, it's just a very quick question, nothing to it. And he said, well, not really. I said, come on. So he realized I wasn't going to give up. So he go, okay, whatever it is, make it really quick. I got to go. So I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now? And he scored by far the lowest. And so that took me back. This is a self-assessment. Why would somebody assess themselves that low? So I said, hey, you know what? I do this thing about happiness, and can I share something with you? And he said, no. I said, yeah, we go again. So he said, okay, whatever you share it really quick because I gotta go. So I just started talking. And I realized towards the end of that first story, he was calming down. And so I kind of like, okay, can I share one more with you? He didn't say yes or no, so I took it for a yes. And then 2 more and 3 more. I was just on the roll. I just was talking. I didn't even know why. So about half an hour later, I slowed down and I reached out to shake his hand, and he grabbed my hand, he would not let go.
Oh my God.
So now I'm thinking, okay, what have I got myself into now? And he goes, what's your name? I say, well, as a general rule, I don't give my name because I made the decision very early on. I didn't want people to think, oh, okay, this guy is just being nice because he's trying to get something from me or stuff. So I never give my name. And so the young man said, no, this time. I didn't want to talk to you at first. You've kept me here for almost half an hour. The least you can do is give me your name. So I thought that was fair. Plus, I wanted my hand back, So I gave him my name. He asked for the spelling of my last name. I spelled it for him. And he released my hand. So we went our way. And then it was the next day, I got a call from him. And he said, do you remember me? I said, yeah, from Jack London Square. And I said, but what I don't remember is giving you my number. And he said, yeah, I Google you, So I'm like, okay, that's good. I've had my number for a long time. And so he said he called to say thank you. I said, no, that's not right. I'm the one that had you hostage, so why are you calling to thank me? And that's when he broke the news that when I had stopped him, he was on his way to commit suicide.
Oh my God.
So I was like, whoa, the first thing out of my mouth was, you got to be seeing a counselor. And he said he's been seeing a counselor for like almost 2 years and nothing was happening, and he was just tired. He wanted to just end it. And so I said, what happened? He said, well, all the stories you were sharing, some of them were very fast. I didn't get them, but I got enough that it makes sense. I went back home and I took the suicide note I left with my family, flipped it, and started writing all the things I was thankful for and happy about. And I went from 0 when you met me to about 29 different things.
Oh.
So I was so happy for him, and I told him, I said, okay, now you are in a different frame of mind. Can you go find a different counselor? So yeah, because I just think in the head. So he goes, are you a counselor? I said, no. So he hung up, and that was it. But that changed my life.
Vibes, and keep watching Kedu Africa.
That is awesome. And I was wondering, how often do you go out
Pretty much every day.
to talk to people?
To talk to people,
How
yeah.
many hours do you spend talking to people every day?
Well, it's different from day to day. What is happening now is just the course of my life is doing my work. It could be I'm in an elevator with somebody, and where everybody is staring at the elevator number and waiting for it to be over, I'm cracking joke and I'm finding out what's going on. Because one of the things that I have learned is that everybody have their own situation. Everybody, no exception, even myself, okay? So if you can break the ice, you will be very surprised how quickly people want to share. It's just that everybody are so uptight, but once they are comfortable with you and they feel like you're not threatening, they just break down. I mean, I've heard stuff from people that total stranger, it just blew your mind.
You know, life itself is pretty difficult. So what inspires you? How do you want to, what makes you want to continue every day with this
Oh, it's
project?
the feedback, the calls, the emails, and people just calling you and saying thank you. And I had a guy that called me one time because he was almost divorcing, And he realized some of the things he was doing, and he took responsibility for it. And the wife was shocked, you know? And it's like, okay, where did you get all this from? You know? So the thing that I really want to dedicate the rest of my life to is happiness as a skill. Okay. Because people can learn to be happy. For example, if you maintain a gratitude journal, especially during the good time, if you just take 5 minutes in a day and write down the thing you're thankful for. Now, in the beginning, you might think there's nothing to be thankful for, but that's because people are thinking of the big thing. You know, I won a lottery, so I'm thankful. I got a promotion at work, I'm thankful. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the little things. Like right now, we are here having this conversation. That's a good cause to be grateful, because other people will get a chance to hear what we are saying. Leaving your house, you know, driving back to your house, you know, your car walking. You know, so all the little things that people take for granted, you can bring them to the surface. Because my grandma used to tell me, you know, back in Nigeria, that when you are thankful, then there is this universal stuff that come to play that bring more stuff for you to be thankful about. If you're always nagging, the same universal play broke stuff you're always going to nag about, you know. So I choose to just be thankful because there are so many things. Being able to breathe naturally. Do you know how many people have oxygen tank that they rely on to breathe? And then do you know a lot of places that can even afford the oxygen tank, you know? So we cannot take all the things that we have for granted.
Yeah, that is so deep. So you started here in the United States.
Yes.
So and I know that you are in other countries.
That is correct.
How do you coordinate all this?
Well, we use a lot of volunteers. So right now, the I Am Happy project is in 64 cities in 19 countries. Yeah, we have over 52,000 members.
Wow.
But each of those chapters is run by volunteers. And they do regular, some do monthly stuff, some do quarterly stuff. But the whole idea is around being of service to others. We want to encourage people. There's a lot of studies that shows when you go out and you're of service to others, you are happier. When you volunteer your time, you are happier. When you give a little bit, it doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to be a philanthropist. But if you give a little bit, you are happier.
So you also do community projects, that's what it means?
That is correct, yes.
So you help other people and you know, like
yeah, like in Nigeria, we have groups that goes to the orphanage homes. In the US, for example, one of the group in Chicago, especially during the holidays, they go to the nuns because they don't have families. Most people just take that for granted, you know. They don't have families. So during the holidays, they don't have nobody coming to them. The nursing home, for example, senior centers, you know, we have people go homeless shelters. So just all over the place.
Okay, that is nice. You know, Kedu Africa, what we do at Kedu Africa, we highlight Africans' achievements, we highlight African cultures, and also even lifestyles. So if somebody wants to know a little bit about the I Am Happy project, can you tell us how?
Absolutely. They can go to iamhappyproject.org. So that would be the easiest, iamhappyproject.org. And they can, and also every Monday, we do the Happy Monday calls. And this is a call that you can call in from anywhere in the world. And it's a very short call because I know people are very busy, especially on Mondays. And so it goes from 8 a.m. Pacific time and to about 8:15 Pacific time. Very short. And the purpose of the call is to help lay a foundation of happiness for the week. And so everybody look forward to a Friday. I want people to look forward to a Monday. So that is a little bit. And for those who have access to the internet, which most people these days, they can go to youtube.com and put /ask the CHO as one word. So that is ASKTHECHO. Or they can just type it in the search and our channel will come up.
Okay, just on a lighter note, I'm wondering why the name Chief Happiness Officer. Some people would choose, okay, I am the coordinator, I'm the founder, or I'm the CEO. So I'm wondering why the Chief Happiness Officer?
Right. I think it was like when I first started, it didn't really look like a project for me, you know. So having title did not really make any sense, and I didn't want another title. I really did not, you know. So I wanted something fun that could easily break the ice. And every time I tell people Chief Happiness Officer, my job is already done. You know, they just start laughing and stuff like that. So it is very exciting. Yeah.
So also wondering, you have the International Happiness Day, and also the International Happiness, or the Global Happiness Summit.
That is correct. Yeah.
Do you had one event this year?
Yes, we had it every year, and most people don't know this. Although internationally, more people know than in the U.S. The United Nations actually passed a resolution declaring March 20th the International Day of Happiness. And it's so funny because when I first started back in 2009, I hosted the first ever Global Happiness Summit in 2010. At that time, the whole happiness movement was just at the infancy, but we wanted people to get engaged and know that a subject as critical as happiness needs to have a forum. Okay, and then in 2012, that's when the United Nations passed a resolution declaring March 20th International Day of Happiness. And I was really fortunate my project was recognized in 2014 at the United Nations. And so we've kind of started celebrating the International Day of Happiness every year at March 20th. And it's just sometimes if it doesn't fall on a weekend, we might adjust it to a weekend. I think this year was like on a Monday, so we did it on the 19th. But we want to be able to get people out. We attract the media and interview leading to the time, so we give awareness to it. We just bring people together to focus on their happiness. We do some happiness exercise. Most people don't even know there's happiness exercise, but we have some fun with that, and we do. By 2020, March 2020, we are planning for another Global Happiness Summit. So that's still in the early stages right now, but we are looking forward to it. It's going to be really big. Yeah.
So the happiness exercise.
Yeah.
What is it, the happiness exercise? I'm interested.
So some few things I've created to, again, just get people excited. Like for example, I go like this: ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And in the process, first of all, it's silly, okay? And people are like, oh, that's a joke. Guess what? Kids are the happiest people in the world. You know why?
Yeah,
they do silly things.
Problems.
No, it's not that they don't have problems. There are a lot of problems, kids' problem too. There's a lot of times. But they do silly things. They don't tie to the problem. You see a kid have a problem, they cry, and they let it go, and they're happy again, We adults, we tend to hold on to it. We savor it. We analyze it. We paralyze ourselves. And then we carry it on. But that doesn't help us. If we can act on a foundation of happiness, we can solve more problems. We are more creative. We are more productive. We don't get involved in gossiping. We are more supportive of people. We are more compassionate of others. And here is something, if anything, I want to leave with you, is a lot of time people are compassionate to others, but they are not compassionate to themselves. So I want to encourage people to practice self-compassion. Treat yourself like you would treat a really good friend. When they have trouble, you don't put them down. So if you have trouble, don't put yourself down.
Yeah, sometimes troubles are overwhelming.
Yeah, and it's true, but that's part of life though. Think about this. If you were in the hospital bed and you want to see that machine going up and down, that's trouble, right?
Yeah.
The moment you go, whoo, and no more trouble. Nobody wants that. So nobody wants that. There's no more trouble once you go, whoo. No. So another way I tell people is look at your kids. Every time you tell your kid, sit down there. And when they sit down and they are sick, you tell them, move. So that's just part of life. I say we need a little trouble, but we just have to learn how to manage it.
So you said something about the 3 minutes rule.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Yes, this is something I've developed as part of happiness as a skill. And the whole concept is this. We all as human beings, we go through what I will call a situational depression. We do, whether it's a loss of job, a loss of a loved one, and stuff. But the problem is we hold on to it longer than we should. And in the process, the brain rewires itself. And it goes from situational depression to a clinical depression. Now you need medication. That's bad. We don't want that. So what I decided to do is whenever the situation happened, I set my time. And gradually, I didn't start at 3 minutes. Again, practice makes improvement. Most people think practice makes perfect. I don't believe that. Practice makes improvement, okay? So I started to, start from maybe an hour to 30 minutes, another way to 3 minutes. So if something really bad happened, I set my alarm for 3 minutes. I get mad, I can cry if I have to, I can scream, I can do whatever emotion that I need to go through as human being. I do. And then once the alarm is up, okay, time to be happy again.
Just 3 minutes.
That's it. Now, I will say this though, for those who are listening to this, you don't have to start at 3 minutes. That may be grossly unrealistic.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, but start with where you are, but know that you got to time out yourself. You know, I hear people sometimes, they say, well, let the person take their time. You know, I don't think you have the luxury of time because your brain will rewire itself in the process. So what I've done is gradually, you know, bring the time down. Now, if in a loss of loved one, it can be 3 minutes, that's not realistic. But it cannot be forever either. Your loved one wants you to continue to live. They don't want you to be depressed for the rest of your life. That's not a good way to honor them. So you still have to set a time. It might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 months, it might be whatever, but it's got to be a time where you get to, you say, okay, you know what, enough of this. I got to shift my gear to being happy. And 3 minutes is it for me.
Okay, 3 minutes is for you. So, like, my other question is this. You know, like, sometimes, just to be a little bit realistic,
Yes.
you are in a situation where things around you or people around you, they always maybe put you down, or they always, you know, just things around you is actually really, really difficult. Like, everything is going wrong. How do you, you know, try to, you know, get off? Let's say maybe something happened this morning and you're upset about it. Then in the afternoon something else, you know, because there are people whose life, you know, actually this way. And then in the evening again. So how do you make yourself happy?
Well, I believe that causes of unhappiness come in 2 ways. Number one are the things you cause yourself, and the things other people cause to you. Okay. Then of course there's actually a third one, which is what nature caused to you. You know, we've seen flooding and all of those stuff. You can't really control that. So one of the things practice bring about is you have to learn, number one, if the kind of stuff that is causing problem all the time are people, you can either learn to move yourself away from those people. Because honestly, if you don't, then it's going to continue to be drama. If you are the person that's causing it, you need to relearn certain things. In other words, you have to set series of goals. What is causing the problem? Why is it so consistent? What can I do differently? And then take baby steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. You know, I was really, really looking forward to meeting you because
Thank
I
you.
was wondering how can anybody be happy? Because when I heard about you, I did research. I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. I really want to know how he does this, and I'm so happy I finally met you, and I think I've learned so much today. Hopefully I will be able to put that into practice, and I'm hope those of you that are listening and watching, I also hope that you try to make yourself happy, you know, because they said happiness, they said it's contagious.
It is, definitely, yeah.
So
And also too, a happy person don't have all the things going good for them. They just make all the things going for them to be happy.
to be happy.
Yeah, so it's a state of mind also. So there is no situation of, oh, I'm going to make sure everything is good before I be happy. No, that is contingency on happiness. You can't do that. You got to be happy in spite of.
Okay, so tell me, is there anything you want to say, like anything you just want to say to someone out there that, you know, needs to be happy at this point?
Yes. So first thing I would say is this. If you're going through a really, really terrible time, talk to somebody. There are a lot of people out there, organizations out there that can help. You can't sweat it by yourself. It's not going to work. It's not useful. It's not healthy. So seek help. The second thing I would say, time passes. It doesn't matter. Look at the recession. People were talking how bad it was. Guess what? A lot of those places have gained back now. The stock market is back now. So time has a way of healing things. So be patient with yourself.
Thank you so much. It was so good
Thank you.
to have you. Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. And thank you for what you do. Awesome.
So this is Kedu Africa. You know, we'll be right back.
You are one and no. Sissy Ferrari, oh, yeah, baby sweet, baby nice,
got your car, take where your heart, me I tell you from start.
Highly spiritual.
For my portion, baby, pana. They say you like you all I get to have baby, pana. Anywhere let's go, I can follow you to go. Baby, pana, only for my portion, baby, pana. They say you like you all I get to have baby, pana. Anywhere let's go, I can follow you to go. Baby, pana. They say right now for you.
So you see a full-blown African here in America, you ask him, hey, where are you from? They look at you and say, I'm from Philly, now, I mean.